Hey guys, it's me. I know I mentioned I was going to be recording this video last night, but I got a little tired. If you know that my doggie is sick, she's 14 years old, has diabetes and some other health issues. She's been deciding that she's been wanting to get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then she won't go back to sleep. So by the time evening rolls around after dinner, I'm just exhausted. So I was actually going to run it by you guys. I was going to do a post in the group to see if anyone would be open to maybe a weekend class during the day instead of having it at 8 o'clock at night. I know I always typically schedule them at 8 o'clock at night. During the week I know people work, so that is a little bit easier. But on a weekend I can most certainly do a class. Maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe on a Sunday. I know everybody's typically home on Sundays, but I think that might make it a little bit easier for everyone to attend a live class as opposed to getting the video. I mean, the video is just as good. You just can't ask questions out loud, obviously, which is nice for the live class, but I think I'm going to start doing that. Maybe on a Sunday I'll start doing the afternoon classes, but we'll see. I'll do a post in the group and we'll see how that works for everyone. So this is the spring Deco mesh centerpiece, and I'm recording this now because we do have a live class tonight, so I wanted to get it done. Now this, if you're not familiar with what this weird looking thing is that I have in front of me, you're probably wondering why I have 2 different types of pipe cleaners, and I'll explain that in a minute. This is a rail form. And what a rail form is, and it kind of looks like a ladder. You can hold it up like that. You can see, I'm trying to see how long it is. Hold on. Yeah, it's 22 inches long. That's right. Because when I ordered it on Craft Outlet, yeah, it's 22 inches long. So it looks like a ladder. It just has, like, if you were able to take off all the pipe cleaners, you would see it's just a rectangle shape. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 rungs going across. This one I got from Craft Outlet. You really can't find them in craft stores. I think someone told me that she found one at Hobby Lobby, but I've never seen them in the craft store. This one I got from, I think it was the Wreathe shop. Craft Outlet has them, Trendy Tree has them. I think when I was in a pinch one time, I did a search on Etsy, and there's some actual, you can get wreath supplies from certain shops on Etsy, and sometimes you can get some pretty good prices. So sometimes I'll find them on there if I'm in a pinch, and they do come in different colors. This one is like a burlap color. You can get them in pink or green for the holidays, whatever. Now, what I did, though, it comes with 11 ties around the outside. I always add more because I always feel like when I'm done adding my mesh that it needs more. So I just went ahead and I added more ahead of time. Some of them are kind of flopping over. Usually what I do is when I add my own pipe cleaners, I add a dab of glue in the middle, hot glue, and then I twist it to hold it and let it sit for a minute, and that usually helps it from sliding around. That's not going anywhere. This one's just kind of flopping over a little bit, but all I did was I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right up the middle. So 1 on the end, and then 1 in the middle of each little crossbar. You don't have to do that, but like I said, when I've made swag, well, you could use this for a swag or a centerpiece. When I've made these before, I always notice that, I have to end up adding more anyway because it feels like it doesn't fill it up enough in the middle, but that's totally a matter of your preference. We're going to be doing a class on Saturday too using a coat hanger, which you sort of bend into the shape of a rail swag. It's not as long. A wire coat hanger is only just over 1 foot long. So if you wanted to have something longer, you'd probably have to attach 2 together. But the wire coat hanger, I'm trying to see what I did with mine. Hold on a second here because I want to show you. Here it is. This is what we're going to be doing for Saturday's class. This is just a wire coat hanger that I sort of bent into shape, okay? That's what we're going to be making our swag with on Saturday. And I'm not going to actually attach two together because I'm not really too concerned about it being super long. But you can see how it is shorter than the rail swag form. So if you wanted to do a centerpiece using a coat hanger, you could. I would just recommend, zip tying two together. But you're basically just going to bend it into that shape and attach your mesh to that. And then you already have your built-in hanger. And we're actually going to be attaching pipe cleaners across the middle, so we have that same ladder effect. But that's going to be for Saturday's class. I just wanted to show you that real quick. So I cut my mesh into 10 by 10 inch pieces, and I have a few different colors here. I'm not really sure which ones I'm going to use. I actually already had this snowball mesh, and it's just a white mesh with little puffs in the middle. I was able to cut this with the wood burning tool too, so that was nice. I have a yellow. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use the yellow. I have a lavender, and I have a pale or a pastel blue. So I'm going to kind of see how those look together. This yellow might be a little bit too bright for what I want to do, but you can use any combination of colors. You can use two colors, you can use one, but I just want to kind of see how this color combination is going to look. Like I said, the yellow might be a little bit too bright. I'm going to film for about 10 minutes here, and then I have to take a half-hour break to get on a conference call. I do still work from home, but I at least wanted to start just to show you how you're going to attach your mesh. So what I'll probably do is attach 2 ruffles per tie, and I'm going to alternate colors. So it's entirely up to you how you want to attach your pieces of mesh. You can actually just sort of like roll it into a spiral. And you can see how mesh just sort of naturally curls in on itself. You could do that, or you can ruffle it. And that's just how we do a ruffle. We just go up the middle and we pinch as we go up. I like to kind of tuck it in underneath to tuck my cut ends in. And that's your ruffle. You can do a ruffle if you want, which sort of ends up looking like a spiral anyway, because mesh just loves to curl it on itself. So I do like this snowball mesh, so I'm going to use that. And I'm just going to go ahead. Doesn't really matter where you start. I'm actually just going to start on the end. Make sure that you have enough, the equal amount on both sides. I hate that. I hate when I have more on one side of my ruffle than the other. I'm just going to give it one twist because I'm going to put another ruffle on top of that one. Okay, so I have a white one there. I think maybe I'll do a lavender. I'm just going to kind of see how this color combo works. Like I said, I always go underneath and I just kind of tuck my cut ends in so they don't stick out. And then I'm going to crisscross it and go the other way with the second piece. Just like that. Now these we can cut off. We can tuck them around underneath. I don't think I'm going to be adding ribbon to these pieces. I'll just be adding them to the outside pieces because I want to put some dried flowers or some silk flowers, some spring flowers in the middle. So I'm going to just end up tucking, it's really bright in here. I'll end up either just cutting that off or I'll just tuck it behind. I forgot what I was going to say. I know the picture that I posted doesn't show ribbon, but I do have quite a bit of spring ribbon that I want to use. I have this pretty plaid. I have this that's left over from my Easter garland that I have a few pieces left of the pretty blue with the flowers. I'm not going to use my Easter eggs, so we'll save those. I have a pretty pink. I have this left over. I'm not quite sure if that's going to go. That's kind of orangey. And then I have a pink stripe. So you don't have to add ribbon if you just want to do your mesh spirals or your ruffles and then add some dried flowers. If you maybe have little spring embellishments you want to use, that's totally fine too. So I think with the next one I'm going to do, since I had the white on the bottom the last time, I'm going to do a pastel blue. And again, you know, see how it looks. Now this is actually a little bit longer, and I wanted to tell you that. I discovered that Michael's mesh is 12 inches long. So this is not a 10-inch piece of mesh, a 10 by 10. It's actually a 12 by 10. But I saw a mesh on sale at Michael's, and it was 50% off. So I grabbed a couple of rolls, and then I realized this is not 10 inches, it's 12 inches. But I don't really think it's going to make that big of a difference. So I'm going to put the blue one on the bottom here. Give it a couple of twists. So it kind of looks like a spiral ruffle. That's just the way it ends up working or looking. And then I'm going to do another white. I might just put a couple of pieces of yellow in here and there. I'm not going to do a lot of yellow. I think that's just going to be kind of overpowering. And I wanted this to be more of a light pastel-y type thing. And then I'm going to go and put my white on top of my pastel blue. So you can see I had the white on the bottom for the other one, and now I'm going to put it on the top. Don't worry so much that this blue mesh is a little bit longer. We're only talking an inch on each side. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. But just a word of advice, Michael's 10-inch mesh is not 10 inches, it's 12 inches. I don't know why. So there we have that so far. It's really bright in here. I'm so sorry. Once I get my ribbon and everything on, you're really not going to notice that that's a little bit longer. What time is it here? I'm actually going to take a quick break. I don't mean to do this to you already. I have to jump on a conference call for about 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to work on this a little bit more. And for what's going to be 10 or 15 to 20 minutes for me is only going to be a couple of minutes for you. So I will be right back. Thank you. Hey guys, I'm back. The conference call took a little bit longer than I thought. It was probably about 45 minutes instead of 15. But anyway, I actually put a couple of more spirals on here while I was on the call because conference calls can be a little bit boring. I did put a little piece of yellow in there. I kind of want to see how that's going to look. I might keep it in there, I might not. But one thing I wanted to tell you that I noticed about this blue and this, I don't think it's the lavender, I think it's just the blue from Michael's, is it does fray quite a bit on the ends, even though I use the wood burning tool. So I'm actually just going to do spirals instead of ruffles because it seems to fray less when I spiral it. So yeah, I don't know. Michael's mesh is not the best quality, but we're going to make it work. Let me try rolling this side in. You don't have to do them really tight. You know, sometimes loose spirals are nice too. So we're going to do spirals with the blue. Let me see here. I did a lavender and I did a yellow here. So actually, I think I want to do a white again now, and then I'll put the blue on top of that. A lot of times I don't really know what color scheme I'm going to do until I actually start doing it. So we're going to do a white in this next one and then a blue. Like I said, I'm not quite sure if I want to keep the yellow in there. I'm going to see how that looks as I go along. And again, do the same thing with yours. You know, play with it a little bit. Play with your colors, play with your, you know, if you want to do a ruffle, if you want to do a spiral, whatever works better for you. This is your creation, so, you know, you don't have to make it exactly like I'm doing mine. Now, once I get these middle pieces in, once I start adding them to the center, it's going to push all these pieces up, and that's kind of how you want it to look. You want them all to kind of be standing up. So I might even end up going in and putting another pipe cleaner in between these two. Like I said, I like mine really, really full. So let's see what I want to do now. I need to go back to lavender, but I don't think I'm going to go to the yellow yet. I don't want a ton of yellow. So let me see here. I think I'm going to do a lavender and then a white. And I'm just kind of doing loose little spirals. I'm not doing them really, really tight. And you're going to see as you go along and you start filling this in a little bit more, and those little spirals start pushing each other up, it's going to look nicer. But when you first start out, it, you know, sometimes can look a little bit wonky. So this is a white one now I'm going to add on top of the lavender. And then I think I'm going to go back to the yellow. Like I said, I don't want to put a ton of yellow in. Maybe just a few here and there. And I think I am actually going to end up adding some more pipe cleaners in between. But once I get my middle filled, I want to see how it looks, because I just don't feel like these are kind of spaced far apart, these pipe cleaners. And you know, I like fullness. I like my wreaths to be really full. So I think, let's see, I did yellow on the top this last one, so I'm going to do a blue. I'm going to do a yellow on the bottom, and then I'm going to do a blue on the top. This yellow isn't really as metallic-y as the other, which is why I was hesitant to use it. But I'm not going to use a ton of it. I'm just going to use a couple of pieces here and there. So we're going to do a yellow on the bottom. And then a blue on the top. And I like to curl it on my shirt instead of on the table. Don't ask me why, it just is easier for me. But that's really all you're doing. You're just going around, filling in. Again, you can do this with a wreath, you can do it with a swag. There's nothing wrong with adding more pipe cleaners, which I think I am going to do in between. I'm going to add another one, even though I added some up the middle, because I feel like it's going to need more. So let's see what we have here now. I need to keep my pattern going here. So now we're going to go back to the lavender, and I'm going to do lavender and I have lavender and white here, and I have blue, so maybe I'll do, yeah, I kind of need to have a blue and white. I'm going to keep my patterns going here. I do need to get lavender in this next one. Don't worry so much about your patterns. Maybe I'll just do a lavender and a white again. So all the colors are all going to blend together when you get all done. Putting the white on the bottom. I can't tell you how many times I've started attaching my mesh and then I undo it because I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way the colors were. I didn't like the way the spirals looked. So as you go along, you will see how it looks, and then you can make the decision whether you want to change it or not. I never, you know, I have a general idea of how I want something to look, but it isn't until I start doing it and seeing how it's progressing. And, you know, a lot of times I'll even have ribbon patterns picked out, and then once I start adding them, I'm like, I don't really like the way that looks. So we're going to change it. Let's see what I want to do now. I don't really want to add another yellow yet. I had some of that pink snowball. I was even considering putting some of the pink in there. Let me see what I want to do now. I think I'll go back to the blue. I don't really want to do the yellow yet. I'm going to do blue and white. Once it starts to fill in, come around. I'm actually going to go on this one on the end here. I'm going to do the one that I added on the end, that pink one. I'm not a huge fan of Michael's mesh, but it was 50% off, and I thought, you can see how some of the metallic strands are coming out too. Let's see, I have blue, and I'm going to do a white. My white is like way over here. I need to move it closer. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the camera again, and because all I'm really doing is making spirals or ruffles, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to come back when I get a little bit further progressed here. There's no sense in you just watching me make ruffles and spirals. It can get a little bit boring. But I'll come back in a little while when I get more of this filled in, and then we'll add some ribbon. Thank you. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not a fan of Michael's mesh. And I just found another gap here I want to fill in. The little metallic strands have been coming out. Even though I cut it with the wood burning tool, it's still frayed. It's this blue. The lavender is not as bad. The lavender is actually from Joann's, I believe. But this blue is from Michael's, and so is the yellow. The yellow's not bad, but this blue, I wish you could see my floor, because all I've been doing is pulling out little metallic threads from it, and it's been making me insane. So I think I'm going to think twice again before I ever buy Michael's metallic mesh. So, and I just want to show you quickly what I ended up doing is, you know, as you get going with this, you're going to find that you're going to need to add some ruffles or some spirals here and there. I ended up going around and I added another spiral in a few places on top of the other two because I just felt it wasn't full enough. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to add one more lavender in here. I'm going to stick it in this one spot where I see a gap. If you can see that, there's just a little gap there that's kind of bothering me. I'm just going to go right through. I just kind of added one of the ruffles and I twisted half a pipe cleaner around it. And I'm just going to go in and I'm going to find that wire. And I'm just going to attach it. It kind of looks like a mess underneath here, but I wish I could tell you exactly how many more I added. I sort of just eyeballed it. I need to cut some of these pipe cleaners off. But it just wasn't full enough to me. And if you can see underneath, I know it's kind of a mess. What I ended up doing was I took a pipe cleaner, and you see how there were 4 bars going across initially? See these 4? I made another one going across out of a pipe cleaner. This one's pink, so you really can't see it. So you might want to do that before you start. Go across with another pipe cleaner and add another like ladder piece across. I guess I call it a ladder piece. You can call it whatever you want. I know I have a bunch of different pipe cleaners going on back here, but because it just wasn't full enough to me. Usually what I do is I just go around underneath and I kind of twist my pipe cleaners together so they're not sticking out as much. And you can always get a piece of felt and cut it to shape just like you do a wreath. So all your pipe cleaners aren't showing in the back. Just get like a long square piece and just glue it on so you can kind of cover all that. But again, that's what I do when I get going and I feel like I need more in certain spots. Just grab a half a pipe cleaner and just feed it in there and fill in that gap. There's really no science to it. I just like my creations to be very full. I don't like to see any gaps. Now we're going to put ribbon on too. I'm just going to try to twist these around. So again, this comes with 11 pipe cleaners attached already around the outside. So initially I added 1 on each end. It's kind of a mess now. And then I added 1 in the middle of each of these existing crossbars. I went ahead and I added another pipe cleaner in between to make like another crossbar to add more. And instead of adding more pipe cleaners around the outside, I just went in some spots and added another ruffle to the ones where I already had 2. I don't think I did it to every one, just where I thought it needed another one, just where I thought, here's like another little gap here that I'm going to throw a ruffle in. I don't know what color I want to use. Let me look and see what my color scheme is here. But it's so easy to do. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. See, I see a little gap there and it's bothering me. I think I'm going to do lavender. So easy to do. Just grab your piece of mesh and roll it up. You don't need a full pipe cleaner. You don't need a full one. Here's my little spiral. Where's my pipe cleaners? I have half of one already cut right here. It doesn't matter what color it is because you're not going to see it. I'm going to go around the middle and twist it. So you have a little spiral. I'm just going to go right into that gap and throw that in there. Just kind of twist around underneath. So we filled in that gap. I don't think I'm going to do any more because I'm going to be adding some silk flowers. I'm going to be adding some ribbon. But I feel like that's pretty full now. You kind of want to stand back and you want to look at it. You want to look at it from the sides and make sure you have enough on the sides. But that's pretty darn full. And I don't have a ton of yellow in. I only wanted a few little pieces of yellow here and there. And again, my blue is really tall because the Michael's mesh is 12 inches. So now that you know, it's a little bit longer than, it's not 10 inches. So I think that looks pretty good. It's so bright in here, but I kind of like the way that came out. So we're going to add some ribbon. Again, it's totally optional. You don't have to add ribbon, but I have some, so I want to use it. And I think I'm going to pair, it's always good to pair a 2.5 inch with a 1.5 inch. So I already have some of this sunflower or daisy ribbon, the pale blue left from another project, from my Easter project. So you just kind of, these are 13 inches, you just kind of fold it in half, put them on top of each other so you can find your middle, pinch it in the middle, and there's your ribbon streamer. And I'm just going to add it to the existing ties that were already on there. I'm not going to add a ton. I'm just going to add a few here and there because I don't think it needs a lot. And you just kind of fan it out a little bit. I'm going to kind of try to get it all facing outward. Don't worry about this pipe cleaner that's sticking up in the middle because we're going to hide that. I'm going to put a little bow tie there. So you just kind of try to fan it out toward the outside. Curl it under like that. Now what I mean by a bow tie is you can choose any of your ribbons that you want, but I actually, it's a little bit, it's uneven on that side. I like it when my ribbon's even on both sides. There we go. I took some of this plaid pink ribbon and I cut some extra pieces and didn't dovetail them at 16 inches. And you just kind of fold it over and make a little circle and pinch it in the middle for a little bow tie. You could put that right on top of your ribbon tails. Now you can go ahead and you can kind of leave that little piece of pipe cleaner there, or you can snip it off. I don't really think it looks that bad. There's only a little tiny piece. So I'm just going to kind of leave it. Now you have a little bow tie in the middle of your ribbon streamers. Okay, so there's one. Let me see what else I have that I can use here. I kind of like this purple that I had in my Easter garland. I'll show you that in a minute. You don't have to always use your 2.5, but since I have a few pieces left of it, I'm going to use it, this pretty daisy. So now I'm just going to use the daisy again. I'm going to pair it with this purple. Again, pinch it in the middle. I'm not going to do every tie with ribbon. I'm just going to maybe do every other one. These are the existing ties that came with the rail swag. These are the ones that I'm using. So I feel like if I put them in every one, my ribbons are going to be too close together. And they're going to be too overpowering. I don't like to use so many ribbons that you can't see your mesh. I like them just to be like little accents. And I've seen the wreaths that have tons of ribbon, and they're so pretty, but I feel like sometimes it's just a little bit too much. That's my personal opinion. If you happen to like that kind of thing, then all the power to you. I just kind of like to see my mesh. So we're just going to kind of fan that out a little bit so it goes out. And I'm going to do the same thing because I do have some extra pieces of this purple that I cut longer. And I'm going to make another bow tie to put in the middle of that. You can always find use for any extra pieces of ribbon that you may have left over from another project. Don't throw it away. Not that you would, but this is all ribbon I had left over from another project. So I'm just going to use it here because it fits. I'm sorry, my Facebook is still on, so I'm getting notifications and beeps. I may still cut this pipe cleaner off in the middle. I'm not sure yet. But there's another little bow tie that we have there. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do, maybe I'll do some ribbon on the ends. So I'm going to cut these pieces off after these pipe cleaner pieces so you don't see them. I'll just kind of tuck them around. But let me go back, and I need to do this again because I want to alternate. So let me get my pale blue and my purple again. You don't have to do bow ties on every one, unless you want to. It's all in what you like and what you want. It's your creation, so. You don't even have to add flowers if you don't want to, or ribbon at all, I mean to say, not flowers. I do have some pretty flowers I want to add. Sorry for my head. So I could either snip that piece of the pipe cleaner off, or I could just push it around the back so you don't see it. It's so full though, you really can only go out with your ribbon, because if you try to go up with it, it's gonna go straight up in the air, and I don't like that. I like my ribbons to kind of curl under. I'm gonna tuck that pipe cleaner back a little bit for now so you don't quite see it. I don't know if I want to put another bow tie there or not, but there's another set of ribbon. Let's come around to the other side. I'm going to go back to my plaid. I have a couple more pieces of this, so I'm just going to use it. And I am going to put another bow tie there because I have a lot of this ribbon. Just kind of fluff it out a little bit. wired ribbon is awesome, but it still kind of has a life of its own sometimes, I feel like. And if it's not long enough, if you don't cut it long enough, your mesh is going to keep trying to push it up. So make sure you cut it long enough. If you have 10-inch mesh, I find that 13 inches is pretty good, unless you're doing 30-inch ruffles, and then you're going to need to cut your ribbon at 14 inches. So I had one more piece of this sunflower, or daisy, I should say. So go ahead, I'm going to stick that over here. Like I said, I'm not going to overpower it with ribbon. Just a little bit here and there. Just a little bit. I don't think I have another long piece of that, but maybe I can make this short one work for a bow tie. I probably can. When there's a will, there's a way. So this one isn't quite 16 inches, but I think I'm still going to be able to make a bow tie out of it. Yep. Just make sure you have it folded over, so when you're twisting it in that it catches, and your little bow tie is not going to come popping out when you're pulling at it and trying to fluff it out. There's that. Let me see. I have another pipe cleaner here. I feel like I want to add another ruffle over there. I only have 2 on that one. I feel like I want to add a purple. Maybe I will, because there's only 2 and I feel like it needs something else over there. So all I'm doing is I'm going back in where I had this one yellow and white spiral here. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to add a purple on top of it just because I feel like it needs one. There. So I don't have a ton of ribbon on there. You can add more if you want. Just have a little bit on the outside. Maybe I'll put some on the top. I don't really know. I kind of want to put some flowers in. So again, if you have some pipe cleaner sticking out, either snip it off or just kind of push it around to the back. Entirely up to you. I really like this plaid ribbon. I feel like I want to add some more of the plaid ribbon. I like it. And I don't really have anything to pair it with. I don't have any more of this. Unless maybe I do some pink in the plaid. I just really like the plaid. I feel like I want to add more of it. So I have a solid pink here. I just feel like I want to add a little bit more. Have this go up this way and kind of tuck it in a little bit. Whoops. You pull too hard and you pull your ribbon out. Just going to kind of tuck that in there. I like this plaid. I really do. I think it's pretty. And I'm going to put another bow tie in there. There. I'm going to put one in over here too, just because I feel like it needs it. I didn't put a bow tie here, but I think I'm going to. Oh, I'm a little bit blurry. Hold on one second. This is longer than I thought it would because I was pulling those metallic strands. See how it's like catching on me? Pulling those annoying metallic strands out of the lavender mesh. So that was kind of annoying. I don't typically buy Michael's mesh that often, just because it's kind of expensive. It's very rare that it goes on sale. But I was there a couple weeks ago, and I saw, and they had the pretty blue or the lavender. I don't remember which one now is fraying on me, the blue. And I thought that would look good in my spring centerpiece. But yeah, it was kind of a pain. So sometimes even when you see something on sale, it might not be the best choice. I'm just trying to get that little bow tie in here. There. I'm just going to tuck this pipe cleaner onto that because I don't really want to see it. I'm losing my voice here for some strange reason. There. Let me see what I have here now. That looks pretty. We have a little bit there. We have a little bit here on this side. I might go back in and add some more after. I gotta kind of see. A lot of times I'll go and I'll add more stuff after I'm done. Just kind of tucking my pipe cleaners in here so I don't see them. The ones that I didn't put ribbon in, that is. Just kind of want to tuck them away. This one has to be tucked away. So I don't see that. Now, let me plug my glue gun in. I have a bunch of flowers here. Boy, this glue mesh, I'm still pulling out metallic pieces. As my father used to say, Jesus Maria, Jesus and Mary, which is not good if you're religious because, you know, you shouldn't say stuff like that, but okay. So I may go back and put some ribbon on the end. I don't really have a pipe cleaner to attach it to, but that does never stop me before. I feel like I should add another one of these because I only have one of this plaid with the pink. I'm trying to see where I can put it. I don't really have any place to put it unless I kind of stick it over here, but then I already have one on that end. I'm going to worry about that later. It's sort of a spur of the moment type thing just because I like the plaid and I wanted to add some more of the plaid. So I have a bunch of flowers. One second, my daughter's texting me. One second. Okay, so let me see what I have over here. These are actually some flowers I had from last year from the Dollar Tree and various places. Let me just pull them out of here. I have some white, I have some lavender, I have some pink. Very springy colors. So I'm just going to kind of add. A lot of times you can just kind of pop them off because I don't really want the green. I just want the flowers. Do you know what I mean? I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use these. I'm just popping a couple of them off just to see. And I'm going to kind of place them here and there just to see if I like them. Yeah, I don't want the green at all. I think the pink might be a little bit too pink. Oh, I just broke that one. Just fell right apart. So you won't use that one. Make sure you get it from the bottom part of the stem when you're pulling it off down here so you get the whole piece. And it won't fall apart on you like mine just did. So see that I don't even really have to glue them yet. You can kind of place your flowers and see if you like them in those spots. And then you can go back and you can glue. I kind of like these light pink ones. I'm not quite sure if I like these. My daughter just texted me. She's dropping me off lunch. She works at a cafe downtown, and sometimes she gets to bring home leftovers, so I'm not quite sure what she's bringing me. I have these white ones. These white ones might be kind of pretty, or they're more like an ivory. Well, we can't really see those, though. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing over here. I'm kind of falling off the table, so we're not going to use those. I like the purples and the pinks. These are pretty. So again, just pull the flower part off. You don't need to pull the whole stem with the greenery. You don't really want any greenery in here. You just want some flowers here and there. I'm just kind of tucking them in just to see how they look. And then I can glue them in later. I like these purple ones. I have these berry things too. They're kind of pretty. These purple berries. I think these are all Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure they're Dollar Tree. So again, I'm just kind of pulling them right off the stem. See that? Make sure you grab down far enough so you get the whole thing. Kind of put some on the end over here. If you're not going to put any ribbon there, you kind of tuck some in on the end. Whoops. So one thing about these little berry things, they like to fall off. Just kind of tuck them in. That looks kind of pretty. Yeah, I like the berries. Purple berries. What else do we have here? We got these little white ones. I'm not quite sure if the white's going to show up though. I don't think I want to use white. What are these? And these are a little too bright. I don't really want the flowers to be the star of the show. I want them to just sort of be little accents, if that makes sense. So let me see if I can maybe stick a few of these pretty purple ones in too. Let's see. See how pretty that is? You can go down amongst your bows if you want, down in here, next to your bows, or you can kind of keep them along the top. Again, you can glue them in afterwards. I'm just trying to situate them and see if I like the way they look in here. That one's going to be too close to that one. Put it over here. Just kind of tuck it in. I got one more. Boy, what a mess my room is right now. I have all these strands of metallic from the blue mesh kind of flung everywhere here. And put that there, I think. And I'm going to put my purple flower over here. I won't put it too close to another one. Actually, I'll just put these two right next to each other. Yeah. So I think I'm done for now. But that's pretty. Let me stand back and look at that for a minute so I can, whoops. I think that's really pretty. I just wanted little bits of flowers. And I think I'm going to put this one purple up here. Put this pink one down here. We glue them in after. Yeah. I just wanted little bits of flower accents here and there. I didn't want it to be overpowering. A little bit of ribbon, and I think that looks really nice for my spring centerpiece. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. I may add more, I may take away, I may add more ribbon. I guess only time will tell. It's a work in progress, but I think that looks pretty good so far. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please message me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.